Good morning and welcome to the talk show Mainstreet, live from the campus of Muscatine Community College in the local Access Channel 9 studio. My name is DeWayne Hopkins. I'm your host today and was your host 2 weeks ago and will be your host in another 2 weeks as well. Today's talk show is about RAGBRAI. We're continuing this theme of RAGBRAI, and I'm having certain guests on that play certain roles within the structure of RAGBRAI. Today, my guest is, and he's also a friend, the president of the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Greg Jenkins. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning. Thanks, friend. I like you saying that. Yeah, that was nice.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent.
I didn't even rehearse that.
That's good.
So we're going to talk about RAGBRAI and nothing in particular, but just kind of RAGBRAI in general, the idea, where it came from, how you got thrust into the program as far as you're the man. I mean, it's your baby. It's that simple. Pressure?
And I also remember a conversation with you and Greg Wonsager when you signed the document and sent it off. How I got into it, you know very well how we got into it.
I'll do whatever I can to help you out here, okay? Well, RAGBRAI sends out a letter to prospective ending towns and overnight towns during the course of the year. 6 months or so ago, there was a ceremony in Des Moines where Muscatine was awarded the ending site where you can dip your tires into the water and you're the destination. Muscatine, this is the sixth time, I believe, for Muscatine, right. And RAGBRAI hasn't been here since
2006.
2006. Having done all that and filled out the paperwork and was awarded the destination site, I'm going to turn it over to you to tell our viewers exactly what RAGBRAI is, why is it coming to Muscatine, exactly when is it coming to Muscatine, and what does it mean for Muscatine?
So the Register's annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa is RAGBRAI. And this is the 44th year for this event, and it has grown dramatically over that time. We can anticipate upwards of 15,000 bicyclists in our town on the 30th of July, Saturday the 30th of July.
I remember in 2008, I believe, six, they talked about 10,000, and also the RAGBRAI before that, they talked about 10,000. So now it's up 5,000 over 10,000, so that's 15,000, and that's awesome.
It is awesome, and the numbers they throw out are 15 to 16,000. How many people actually get here? But when you talk, that's just the folks on bicycles. But these people have to be met by somebody. There'll be, 100 charter buses in here that day.
Met by somebody like charter buses or transportation back to their home.
Yeah, and a lot of that's families. So the numbers that were estimated from the last time was about 5,000 additional people were in town on top of the riders. So those people will come in here, 10 o'clock in the morning or something to that effect, and be on the riverfront. Great River Days will be going on. So we're looking at about 20,000 people for RAGBRAI to be here.
Sure. And that's to say nothing of the day before RAGBRAI starts. These people have to get to where RAGBRAI starts at in the western part of the state of Iowa. So they're coming here and catching buses to go there as well, correct?
Yeah, there'll be upwards of 1,000 cars left at the high school and other parking places in town, long-term parking. And then they'll meet their charter buses and get out of here. They'll be gone like at 7:30 on Saturday morning to get over to their kickoffs, Glencoe, I think it is, where they'll start the ride. But we'll have, the upwards of 1,000 people camping out at the high school on that evening. So that's a great thing. And
is that free?
The camping is free, the parking is not free. It's all in one if you choose to camp, but RAGBRAI does not charge for camping. That's part of the entry that you pay to ride RAGBRAI is free camping.
Okay.
So, but we will charge a fee for the long-term parking. We have to be able to defer costs somewhere. It's not actually a cheap undertaking to pull this off. But, we'll see a great many people come to town and visit. I think Friday before when they get ready to leave to start RAGBRAI, I think it's the 22nd. I could be wrong. But those 1,000 folks will be in here. There's Muscabus has agreed to run shuttles, and so they'll run shuttles downtown and around.
Oh, for those that are camping and getting ready to leave to go to the western part of the state, dining and things of that nature.
Go see the riverfront, go
Absolutely.
see some entertainment downtown, take advantage of the community, have a look around. So there's opportunities there for the vendors or people of this community to participate in what they're trying to get,
Sure.
what the RAGBRAI folks are doing. So it'll be a, there'll be a touch of chaos involved with this. I mean, that many people coming together in a given location and all meet, it'll be, it's,
Sometimes chaos is fun.
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, there are a lot of good people doing good things to get the organization set, to be able to answer the questions, direct them where they need to go. Great River Days with Carrie Keller has been very cooperative in what we're doing with the riverfront this time as far as splitting it.
Oh, Great River Days and RAGBRAI come together at the same time.
They do.
Wow.
So the Great River Days will be, I mean, when you come down Cedar Street, when you go across the river, you're running right at the anchor. So Great River Days, for all intents and purposes, will be everything towards the bridge. And RAGBRAI will be to the right.
That would be east, and then the RAGBRAI is to the west
Yep.
of Cedar Street.
Yep. So there's an opportunity. It's the Great River Days is a great thing. It makes noise and it's loud and it looks like something's going on in the community, and there's a lot of people to participate in it. So I think that's a really nice touch. And the idea that our beautiful riverfront will be open for the riders to see and take advantage of it's going to be a great thing. So I think the community will show very well during this event. I'm pretty excited about it, actually.
Sure. Now, most of the overnight towns have entertainment venues, and maybe it's just for one night during that RAGBRAI stay, but a lot of them have bands and things of that nature. So it's nice to have a Great River Days here in place already to take the place of those overnight towns that have that kind of entertainment. Of course, there could be the wear-out factor as well. Once those folks get to Muscatine, they could be worn out from bands.
Well, I know I would be, and I would only have to ride from the last stop to here, and I would be wore out. So, but it'll be with the Great River Days going on. I think they're doing the talent show that morning for folks to participate in or take advantage of. I think the beer tent will be open for those who want to have one last beer before they close out their RAGBRAI time. And there'll be a lot of things going on in the downtown. I mean, the farmers market's going on that day as well. Oh yeah, and the soccer search tournament is going on as well.
Another event in addition to Great River Days. Now, explain the soccer search.
I'm not as familiar.
Tournament, but it's
well, it's teams come together to show off their players to college coaches. For all intents and purposes, college coaches come and take a look at these prospects that may come to school and come to their school and play for them. And so there'll be a lot of college coaches in town. A lot of teams come to play, and so that's a couple thousand people that'll be in town as well. And what'll be kind of neat is that RAGBRAI will come in on Hershey and under the bypass, right there by Hauser Street.
Sure.
So when there's going to be a lot of people at the soccer complex that are going to see really a neat sight as those RAGBRAI riders come zipping by there. It'll be an awesome thing to see. They'll have a great best seat in the house.
Do you think there are any RAGBRAI aficionados that might be interested in soccer or have an interest in soccer before they get here and go, oh, hey, wow, I've heard about Muscatine's soccer complex and what's going on here? Do we have a means by which these RAGBRAI riders can get back down to the soccer complex and take some of that in?
Well, depending on when they get in, some of these folks get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning or out on the ride by 5 a.m. nuts. And then they'll be in here, it's 40 miles. And so if they're running, they'll be here by 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know what time the soccer stuff starts, but I would imagine they could, if you see it and you want to go down there, just turn and go. There is no real time limit when they have to be back out of here. So
that's very true.
If they've got the time to go, they'll probably cut over and make that happen. We will have the Journal and the Voice of Muscatine are putting together informational tabloids, if you will, that'll get delivered to Washington the day before they come here, so that the riders will be able to, it's just they pick it up for nothing and they can read what's going on and look at the map and see where they got to go. And in there, I can only imagine there'll be stuff about the soccer thing and what's going on in the downtown and where restaurants are. And so there's opportunity for them to learn about Muscatine so they have their plans set before they even get here. It should be good.
So let's talk about transportation and more specifically buses. The Friday and Saturday before RAGBRAI, which begins on a Sunday, will be in Muscatine picking up these riders. Do you have any sense of how many?
I don't think I'd be far off if I said 100.
Are you kidding me?
No, I am not. There's a lot. We're anticipating about 1,000 people to park their car long term. I don't know how many will camp, but those buses want to be back out here by 7:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock, 7:30 to 9 in the morning. They'll be picking up their riders and getting
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning to get out of here because they want to get to the other side and get their tent set up, and because there'll be kickoff festivities at the starting town.
Sure,
So.
sure. And then, of course, when RAGBRAI ends here the following Saturday, and most of it will be over and done with by 3:30, we're thinking, again, over 100 buses here to depart from Muscatine with their RAGBRAI passengers.
Yeah. So they'll have to sort out, some of these people will turn their bikes over to the bicycle shop, like Charlie Harper's Bicycles will be down there with the tent set up. And they're going to be boxing bikes up to ship them all over Creation because people come from around the world to ride this thing. And so they'll be there to package their bikes up.
And that's a literal fact. People come from around the world to ride this thing. I know that the Chinese were going to send a RAGBRAI team here. For some reason, it went south,
Oh, did it?
so to speak. But I'm sure that the next time RAGBRAI comes to Muscatine or takes place next year in Iowa and ends somewhere in eastern Iowa, that there'll be a Chinese representative there.
Wouldn't be surprised. I think, did they not ride it last year? Some small contingent?
I think there was a small contingent that did ride it last year, and they ended in Davenport. I never did hear.
Yeah.
So could be the contingent from the University of Iowa too. There's like 2,000 Chinese students in Iowa.
Yeah, it could be. So, it's the parking, the Muscatine Boosters is a great organization who's in place to support the kids at our schools for all manner of after-school activities. And they do a lot of really good stuff. And the last time that RAGBRAI came here, they did a great job of managing the parking and the camping and all of that. And so we've asked them to do that again this year, and we will share costs with that. So this is a really good fundraiser for them. It helps us a great deal, and it's also with a group that we can trust.
Sure.
So the boosters will be managed in the parking lot at the high school, and they'll be we're anticipating a pretty nice contribution to them for making that effort. They'll be managing the showers at the high school. I believe they're setting up, I don't know what they're doing for sure for dinner, but I think that if people pre-order, they can get a hamburger or something like that out at the campground. But it's going to be at St. Mary Smith Highs or Hayes is where they're going to be camping. And then they'll help with the showers as well to make a little money. I think it's $2 for a shower and $1 for a towel. So chances are you're going to have to, I don't know why you just don't say $3 and you're going to go, but I guess maybe you don't always need a towel. But so that's kind of neat. And it's been fun to watch them take a hold of this, and it's like that's just not something we're worried about because we know the boosters will pull it off and do a really nice job. So it'll be a fun day, I think.
Sure. Well, let's talk about managerial structure, because you can't pull off an event like this where you're looking at 15,000 participants coming to Muscatine all at the same time. How have you managed to structure a good team to pull this thing off?
Well, one of the ways you do that is to follow the manual. You brought yours, I brought mine with me as well. That book has in it the steps that need to happen to a great extent. It's general in some nature, but we have
How many pages?
310 or something like that.
Charlie Harper told me not too long ago the first or second one had like 43. So it's come along.
They've done a nice job of putting that. There's a lot of sample forms and things like that in there that help you get the job done and give you a sense of what you need to do to pull it off. But there's also the freedom to be individual, what you're trying to accomplish as well. So we'll see what comes of that. But we have an advisory board who's kind of the overarching go-to folks for getting stuff done in the community. And then beneath that there's 7 on the advisory board, and then there's 7 executive committee members, you being one of them. And each one of those executive committees then have like 4 or 5 or 6 subcommittees underneath of those. Like one committee is, well, you could speak to yours if you want to. Go ahead, tell us.
Sure. I have a vendor committee chair. I have an electrical committee chair. I'm looking for a downtown committee chair, and those are the 3 that I have. I don't have
vendors.
I have 4, but one of those is really not I mean, it's a gal that's assigned to Great River Days, and so that kind of transitions. Anyway, I have 3 committees, and looking for a committee chair for the 3rd one, which is downtown. So we have things sort of in order, and we don't have a budget because we don't need to spend any money.
Well, we will spend some money, and it's money that has to be spent to get this done. I mean, we will have asked the Sheriff's Department, the Muscatine Police Department, and the Fire and Rescue folks to help us out with this. You don't get this done without having the services of those organizations help you. And so we have great law enforcement and security services and helps and all that in this community. And we're going to have to, we believe it's the right thing to do, is to fund them back for some of the expenses that they're going to incur because of this. I mean, they didn't actually volunteer for this either more than I did.
Sure.
But don't get me wrong, I think it's the right thing to do.
I'm not sure how to take that, but we can talk about that later.
Well, there's things like that's got to be covered. I mean, we're going to have signs all over the community. We spent some money for a pretty nice website that Bonnie Nichols put together for us. She's one of the committee chairs. And I mean, there's just a stream of dollars that have to be spent to pull this off, and it needs to be done right. You know, we'll have a vast array of a diverse population coming to this community during that time period. But some of that folks that are going to be coming in this town may have some influence on where dollars get spent by businesses moving into the future, or who might come back to visit this community. So we want to put the best foot forward, and we think the teams that are been put together, those committees, are doing what they believe is the right thing to do, and I agree with them, to make sure that we put our best foot forward. That day we look as sharp as we can. Hotel will be under construction, but there's a sign there that shows what it'll look like right then, and so there's going to be a beautiful thing when that lights, when it comes above I mean, it's come out of the ground now, and when it comes to, come back in 2017 or 2018 rather, and see it when it's all put back together with Mississippi Drive getting right. The riverfront's beautiful right today, and so it's all going to be a very pretty drive-in, and so the community's going to be looking good. We're going to have along Hershey Avenue. I think I don't know the makeup of these contests, but I think there's best yard contest and things like that.
Yes, you're right.
To get folks engaged and, for that.
Participate.
Dress it up. Make it look right.
Hershey has been redone about 5 years ago.
Is it that long now?
Yeah, it's been that long. So I remember the lady that drove down the wet concrete. Anyway,
it happens.
It's one of a couple of outstanding entryways into the city of Muscatine, and based on the route prior to coming to Muscatine County and ending on Hershey Avenue, and then of course Mississippi Drive, and in the river, I think it's a good choice. We could wind them around to Cedar Street or Mulberry or whatever, but we'll save one of those two for the next time. How's that?
Well, the other piece is if you got them on a flat road after a week of riding, these folks all have phones, all have GPS on their phones, and they're going to find the easiest way to get there, because I suspicion some of them won't want to go up Hauser Street Hill or. Yep. Although I had this vision in my mind, and I do agree with Hershey. I think it's the right thing to do. But I always thought it would be fun, just like the soapbox derby. Let's wind them down Lucas and onto 3rd, get the cars out of the street, and let them come flying down 3rd Street Hill. Just they have to remember they got to make a right turn at the bottom. But it doesn't make the most sense to do it that way. But.
Well, speaking of hotels and motels, probably not an available room in Muscatine even right now for that particular RAGBRAI weekend.
I wouldn't think so. And I would doubt if there's a room available for the Friday before either, but I don't know that for sure. But I do know that with the soccer surge coming in and all these riders coming in, the families just coming in to meet it's going to be a busy weekend. It'll be a lot of fun, I think. Well,
that's good. It's great things are happening in Muscatine, and that's a quote from former Mayor Dick O'Brien, and another RAGBRAI, this is number 6, coming to Muscatine, just adds to the popularity. So we're looking for Muscatine to grow.
We are looking for Muscatine to grow, and I think it's also an opportunity for us to take a look at our community. We have a great town. Iowans I'm from Illinois, and one of the things I noticed about Iowans is we're kind of hard on ourselves. And we're hard on ourselves in this community. And I think if we looked at the positive things that we have going on in this town, there is so much more going on than the negatives that it should just be able to outweigh the negatives. Because there's really some neat stuff going on in town, and it's just getting better, and there's such a great number of people who are engaged in making it a better town. And RAGBRAI is just a nice plum to show it off.
Sure.
And so I'm not naive enough to think that this is just going to go smooth as silk. I'm pretty sure that it'll be chaos. I do remember the last time, I wasn't at the chamber the last time they came to town, but I did go downtown and watched, and I did see chaos. And so there will be some nuttiness, I'm sure, and it's just because you put that many people in that space, people are going to get confused and wonder what the heck where they're supposed to be going. But we think we have the maps put together. We'll have the information groups put together to help them. And we're going to be looking for volunteers. If you call United Way or go out on United Way's site, you can sign up for volunteering, and then those assignments will come to be as we get closer. We think I should also say Janet Morrow is running RAGBRAI for Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She is the community liaison to the RAGBRAI folks, and also is running HERD over all of the things that are going on, and she's doing a very good job. There's a lot of things that move in parts to make this happen, and so in some ways it's been fun for me to just sit and watch that happen, because I like how you get when you've been pulling your hair out all day. I walk into her office sometimes, her hair's standing straight up.
So where do you envision yourself on RAGBRAI Day?
I'm going to be right down on the riverfront. I probably just, I don't know, information booth maybe, or we have the opportunity to set up a stage. They bring a stage. I think Budweiser provides a stage if you wanted to use it, but I'm not so sure what we would do with that yet. I mean, the Great River Days are going to have their stage, and we don't want to blow a photo op for anybody. Sure. Like the picture with. Are
you thinking? And I got this from this year's book, like a closing ceremony.
I don't think so. People I've talked to recently say that it makes us feel good, but it doesn't do anything. It's just another step that you have to put in place that is the writers don't care. They're going to come and dip and go. And so we could do that. And what I lean more towards actually is having a kind of a closing party for the volunteers and have them come and celebrate with us and then close it out at that point. Because I think it's important. When we're that day, there'll be no way to get this group all together to thank him or to at least celebrate a little bit all the hard work that's been done. So I kind of like to do that, and not to poo-poo the idea that maybe we ought to thank people or recognize people, but to have a real ceremony, I'm not so sure that's going to garner anything. I do think that we need to have, I think the Voice of Muscatine radio station is going to have Tony Tone down there broadcasting at the time, and so there's a significant contingent from the Air Force that'll ride in.
Yes.
And that'll be pretty cool to see those guys come in. They're going to meet, I don't think it's a secret, but they're going to meet at Mulford Church.
Well,
and they come on in, I guess.
And they're not the only branch that will be represented in RAGBRAI. The Army has a group. I'm not sure about the Marine Corps, but I think the Navy as well. And when these military groups come into town, they'll find a place prior to reaching the river or the dip site to form up and then come in at the same time. And you're right, it is a sight.
Gives me chills thinking about it.
Yep,
actually.
it's a sight to behold.
We're both vets, and so I can't get it out of my blood. And so when you see that stuff happen, it makes you kind of proud, huh?
It's pretty cool.
It'll be very cool, I think.
Well, what else can we talk about? We got about 5 minutes in the show. Let me give you the phone number if you have any questions. It is 288-6069. As you can see, I have a trusted phone right here that rings right in. So if you want to give us a call, if you have any questions, 288-6069. That's 288-6069. Oh, that's your phone.
No, it's yours.
Oh, it is mine. I'll have to get that later.
It should be a lot of fun, and we are looking for people to come and be vendors at this event. I mean, we have a permitting process that will ask people to go through. For commercial entities, we're going to ask them to pay a $300 permit fee, and for nonprofits, it'll be $100. And to go within, you also have to have a $100 deposit for cleanup, and that's refundable if your site's clean when you get done. The other overnight towns are upwards of $750 to $1,000 for those permit fees. Well, they have, people start getting into the next town by noon or 1 o'clock, and they're there all day and evening. So access to people to buy your wares is far greater than what we will have. Sure. So it's tough to get too cranked up about that.
Is there any restrictions in terms of if I'm a vendor where I'm residing?
We're looking for local vendors. I mean, we are not opening the door up to vendors all over creation to come in and sell their stuff. We want people to come. We'd like to have nonprofits, churches, scout troops, and things like that come down and sell their stuff and make a little money. And support the effort while you are also supporting your organization. So we'd like to see that take place. And
So they would contact the Greater Muscatine Chamber of
Yep.
Commerce and Industry at 263-8895.
Very good. Or you can-
563-263-8895.
Or you can look at on the RAGBRAI Muscatine website. It's all out there as well. And that's a very nice website. I think I mentioned before, the Bonnie Nichols put that together, did a great job with that, and so we really appreciate that. But there's a lot of information there that if you want to know what's going on and what's happening, it's a good place to have a look and see. You know, you got to set up showers because some of these people are they got to catch a charter to an airport, and they're going to go get on an airplane and fly out. But they need a shower before they can do that. So there's
Sure.
portable showers that are being brought in. And then that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But that's got to get coordinated. The dip site with all the moving parts there has to be coordinated. David Reagan, yeah, is coordinating that for us. He knows how to move
The
trucks.
dip chair.
He's the dip chair. Yep. And there'll be, I think Brett Olson and the folks at The Wire are going to host some people overnight inside because they didn't want to camp outside. So he's going to put some people up inside. One of the charter buses is going there. So it's a broad community effort. It's pretty neat to see people pull together on this. And most times you just have to ask, and people will help you. And so that's what we're doing, is asking people to give us a hand.
Sure.
And so most all are stepping up and giving us, because it's going to take. How's it go? It takes a community. Is that what she said?
A village to raise a boy.
Yes, a village. Takes a village.
To raise a boy.
Excuse me. Yep.
In this case, a community to pull off RAGBRAI. Gosh, I had something else I was going to say, and I forgot what it was. In any case, if you have any questions about RAGBRAI, 563-263-8895. You can ask for Greg, or you can ask for Jenna Morrow, who seems to be the spearhead here for the RAGBRAI initiative. Guys, we got the 4th of July. That's another chamber function. And then, of course, RAGBRAI. What comes after that, Greg?
Well, there are some other things under works right now to try to get, I'm not at liberty to talk about it yet, but another significant event in the downtown yet this summer we have the second Saturdays coming off this summer.
Exactly what is that?
CVB is working with a committee to put a small street fest together, or a street festival together, the second Saturdays of every month between June and October. I think it's 5 to 8, might be 4 to 7, 5 to 8. And so that's an opportunity for people to come downtown, see vendors, hear music on the street, stroll the community, participate. So that should be kind of fun, and
Sure.
hopefully people will come out and
Sounds like it.
participate in that.
So that's great. Well, Greg, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Much appreciation. In 2 weeks, I will have also from RAGBRAI, Diana Tank, who is the chair of the Ride Right Committee, and she'll be coming in with some other folks as well to talk more about RAGBRAI. And pretty much that is it for today's show. Again, my name is DeWayne Hopkins. It's my pleasure hosting you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.